It turns out that this hairless beast, found wandering the streets of California, is an animal nobody would have predicted. Unexpectedly, an odd, hairless creature found roaming the streets of California turns out to be something else entirely. Finding different species on the side of the road is nothing new. There are raccoons, dogs, cats, and other creatures. These animals would frequently wander aimlessly and conceal themselves beneath trash cans. However, have you ever seen a really peculiar, unusual, and unearthly species of animal when out and about in public? You may be certain that your heart would skip a beat if you had ever experienced such an encounter. The only acceptable home for such strange and unfamiliar creatures is most likely a zoo, particularly if it is a wild one. One such encounter left the people of California terrified when they eventually identified the beast they had never seen before. Welcome to USA Stories channel. Do not forget to subscribe and activate the bell button to receive all new updates. Now let's go to the story. It was time to celebrate. Christmas was almost here. While everyone was delighted and excited, a strange stranger, who had entered unexpectedly and strangely, suddenly drew the inhabitants' attention. What kind of animal had they never seen before? Behind the trash cans was where the unidentified intruder was lurking. It looked a little afraid, and it spilled a number of garbage cans in its panic. People initially thought it might be a possum or raccoon, but they were mistaken. Chaos was caused by its strange and sticky look. Everyone bought gifts for their friends and family as they got ready for Christmas. Because of the celebration, they anticipated a large number of guests, yet none had ever anticipated a visitor like this on the streets. Was it an enigmatic animal? If this species had behaved like any other, people would never have even noticed it. This monster attracted a lot of attention since it frequently dumped trash onto the streets. It was most likely searching for food, but its appearance was what alarmed everyone. The skin and scales of the animal were pink. It appeared to have no mane or hair and was rough and dry. It didn't appear good, but it wasn't hurt either. Its presence caused unease among many. But then, an odd incident occurred one day. This strange-looking animal used to wander the houses and streets. Everything was okay up until the day it made the decision to dig holes in the backyards of the occupants. It would be a disaster and completely destroy the gardens. It was now the source of concern. It was just part of the animal's habit. The neighborhood would complain about this monster on a daily basis. Since none of the villagers understood what this animal was, they were afraid to approach it. Furthermore, approaching a wild beast like that might be risky. It was becoming more and more vital for humans to identify this species. They had to get in touch with some specialists and request assistance. They had no idea what a horrible beast they had been residing with. Everyone initially believed that the animal had most likely escaped the zoo. They made the decision to get in touch with the zoo administration, but they were unaware of any missing animal incidents, at least not that appeared as strange as this one. The Fund for Animals Wildlife Center was then contacted by the locals. They might be able to assist them. Located in San Diego County, near Ramona, California, the Fund for Animals Wildlife Center is an affiliate of the Humane Society of the United States. This group offers numerous animal and avian species medical and rehabilitation services. This was the best option for requesting assistance. Even the Humane Society workers were perplexed when the locals described the monster to them. They were unable to identify the beast that the locals were discussing. They made the decision to go there and capture the animal. The animals were characterized by the inhabitants as being of a peculiar kind. It had rough, pink skin, large ears, and several types of paws. Its skin also exhibited dark areas and a few dry lumps. Nobody knew the nature of this beast. The volunteers themselves were eager to learn the identity of this monster, as they had never encountered one of this kind. They were eager to find out what the strange animal was, albeit being a little uneasy about it having been around. This monster was hidden in the bushes when the volunteers arrived at the residential neighborhood. It seemed afraid. The animal moved forward as they stroked its back, feeling at ease. The volunteers were taken aback. They only exclaimed, "It's not possible! Has this been lurking around here?" The participants were able to identify this animal right away, without any delay. The fact that it had the disease mange was the sole explanation for its look. This was a wild animal, not one that had been tamed. Staff personnel from the FAWC informed the locals that it was a black bear, nothing else. It required emergency care because it was in terrible shape. Nobody believed the volunteer when she stated black bear. It didn't seem to be one at all. Was that a bear after all? The group was tight. They had never seen a case of mange this bad. Furthermore, this skin condition was so severe that human contact was possible. Both the residents and the animal did not feel secure in the residential neighborhood. Without more delay, the FWC crew made the decision to bring this animal to their wildlife facility so that it might receive medical attention. This was beneficial for the bear's declining health, as well as safe for the locals. What transpired next was quite depressing. The bear's extreme illness was clearly visible. He was small and skinny, and because of his illness, his condition only became worse. This bear's primary motivation for rummaging through trash cans for food was this: thank goodness the bear could now be attended to. The director of FWC, Matthew Anderson, expressed his concerns in an interview. He said, "This was the most extreme case we've seen in the history of our wildlife center." Furthermore, he referred to this animal as fortunate, stating, "There's no way he would have survived on his own if he hadn't been brought here. He was in very terrible shape." The bear was brought into the FWC center right away. For this sad animal, the helpers had already made provisions. They were aware that he required attention, care, and, most importantly, medical assistance. Since he was brought to the center on Christmas Eve, the members gave him the name Eve. This new member was closely observed by the physicians and personnel. They provided him with much-needed nourishment through his meals and set up a customized bear apartment for him. At first, the bear would not react, but with time, he adjusted to his surroundings. Eve had been on medication for about 8 months. His condition was periodically checked. After switching from a fully liquid diet to a semi-solid and solid diet, he progressively began to exhibit improvements in his meal plans. His body mass rose, and he steadily gained weight when his condition eventually started to recover. 8 months later, his mange started to fade. A little fur was beginning to move. Eve's black fur began to grow over time. The soft hair covered all of his pink scales now. The unusual, weird-looking creature began to resemble a bear as its fur thickened. None could have ever guessed that it was a bear until probably now. This bear's life was finally improving. Eve was making progress, and everyone at the Wildlife Center was pleased to see it. They all simply commented on how much he now resembled a bear. He's exploring his enclosure much more, climbing frequently, and has especially enjoyed playing in his pool with the hot days we've been having, stated Anderson, a staff member. Because of the bear's modest stature and stance, FWC members initially believed it to be a few months old. But as time went on and he put on a lot of weight, it became clear that he was quite old, possibly 2 or 3 years old. Eve's nails and mane have both grown, but more significantly, his body proportion has returned to normal. He was behaving as a bear would, exploring his area and having fun. He's not yet healed, but Eve would eat, play, and sleep. Eve's mange has entirely healed. He is currently receiving treatment, though, for further secondary skin conditions that might arise from mange. He receives adequate care for his meals and medication, and he is constantly monitored. Anderson claims that they are in charge of Eve's health and that he is now doing fairly well. Furthermore, as soon as he is fully capable of supporting himself, they will release him into the wild. Only the people of California were able to give Eve a new start in life. Please consider thumbs up and sharing the video with your friends and family if you enjoyed it. Again, thank you, and see you in the next one. Please remember to subscribe to our channel, give us a thumbs up, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of our videos. If you enjoyed the tale, the next video that plays on your screen will probably move you too.